Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Sorry we're starting a little bit later than normal. One, I was eating, because my food came right before I started. That was poor timing on my part. And then I was trying to watch WandaVision, because I didn't watch the new episode yet. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it, because it was longer than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like a 22-minute thing, and it was going over. So I apologize profusely for that. Welcome to Art Stream. I know it's Super Bowl Sundays, but you know, I don't watch football, so I'm not watching the Super Bowl, whatever. It's Sunday and I'm going to Art Stream. Today is the 7th and it's Wave All Your Fingers at Your Neighbor Day. No. I don't see my neighbors, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, I'm going to be attempting to work on a few things, sorry, words, today. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of animation prep. It's stuff I need to get done for class tomorrow. Right now I'm cleaning up a character design that I intend to use for it. I should have gone with something simpler, but I didn't. But yeah, we're gonna do that, and then I got one other project I wanted to start on, if I get to it. I know art streams are a bit shorter now, but we'll see where we end up. We will see where we end up. Yeah, I didn't get around to watching WandaVision yesterday, and then I woke up with my weird back and chest pain that I get. I don't know what it is. It's just every once in a while, my upper back hurts, and then my chest. I wonder if it's, I don't know, stress or something. I don't know what brings it on. I start hurting, and it's hard to do anything. And even after I got up this morning thinking I'll be okay, it flared back up. So I ended up back in bed for a few more hours with the heating pad until it went away all the way. It's not bothering me anymore, but like I don't have any good ways of getting rid of it. Painkillers seem to take longer than I want them to take care of the problem. It's like I do yoga stretches, but they only do so much. They help, but they only do so much, which is a bit annoying. But no, I'm just cleaning this up real quick, just because I want to. And then we'll be popping over to Clip Studio for a bit. If you're wondering why I'm not just like finishing this up in Clip Studio, I tried messing with the brushes and I couldn't. There was like a lot of fixes for the weird brush lag I was feeling, and I just kind of got fed up with trying it. I was working in it the other day trying to figure out the vector layer thing, because I kept seeing tutorials on using the vector layers that seemed pretty useful. And it's like, it is. It's not terrible. It's a different workflow that I'm not used to, so yeah, it's a strange way to work. It'd probably be more beneficial if I learned it properly, sure, but that's for later. That's fine. But yeah, I hope your guys' weekends have been good. I can't complain much about mine. At all, really. I picked up something exciting this weekend. Hey, Brian. How's it going? Oopsie. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Like I was just saying, today just started off a bit rough because I woke up with annoying back and chest pain, but it's gone now. That makes it sound a bit more serious than it is, but I don't know. I should probably go to a doctor and get it checked out. I don't know if it's just weird lingering muscle pain from when I pulled a muscle a while ago. This was like, I don't know, last year? It's been a while, but it's in like the same spot. I pulled a muscle a little while back from carrying a book bag with too many books in it. And it's like, I haven't done anything similar to that, so I don't know why it flares up. But it's like, I ended up going to like the urgent care nearby, and they gave me painkillers and no, it was a muscle relaxer, and I don't remember what the other thing was. But that was just for that particular pain. But whenever I wake up or have that happen, it just puts kind of a damper. I don't know, maybe. It's just an occasional flare-up that becomes an inconvenience because I can't do much until it goes away. And the stretches I do to help alleviate it, it's kind of hit and miss on if they are as effective as I'd like them to be. I don't know, maybe I'm avoiding getting it checked out because I don't want to admit that I'm getting old and I can't handle things or something. But, yeah. That was my morning. And my afternoon, because it laid me up in bed for a little while. Like, it was really bad, it woke me up. Then it edged off, and then it came back with a vengeance later on. And I was like, fuck off, really? And then it went away. So it's just, I don't know, it's weird. And I don't even know what triggers the flare-ups, it just happens. And I can't predict when it's going to happen. It's completely random. Or it seems to be completely random. It's not like I'll do something extraneous the night before and think, oh, I'm going to hurt in the morning. I might hurt in the morning. I could hurt randomly in the evening. I could be doing nothing all day and then it flares up during the night. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just dying now. That's fine. Well, I don't know, it didn't... I went in that one time, and I was like, okay, this is a one... obviously, I guess it's not a one-off thing, because it's still happening. No, you're right. Just... I don't know. I guess it's just finding the time to go to the doctor. Which is still a poor excuse. I need to be fucking responsible and do the thing. But, yeah, I don't know. I'll get it figured out eventually, maybe. I had one bad hot pepper. My stomach has been F for 2 months. Oh, dang. Oh no! Oh no, that was so long ago! I collapsed the face down when the opacity was... Fuck! God damn it. And that opacity is locked like that. I can't change that. I can't... Okay... That was so long ago when I did that, I can't even, like, fix it any other way to redrawing it. Fucking goddamn it. better about that. I turned the opacity down to erase shit, and normally I turn it back up afterwards. Me, why did I do that? I'm gonna redraw my face back in. I don't know, other than the random bout of pain this morning, today's been alright. I cut a little bit in on the time for the stuff I had to do today, which is mainly study. I got a Japanese final coming up on Tuesday that I'm a little bit concerned about. Mainly because the last couple of chapters, like, they're not the longest of things, but we've been rushing through them because Tuesday is the last class for this particular segment. And it's like, I just don't have the time right now to dedicate to studying properly with work and teaching and other things, you know, wanting to actually have some free time. So I'm not continuing on, but it's like I don't, which is bad, because that means some part of my brain started to subconsciously shut down. Like, I just don't want to do it anymore. Not right now, anyway. It's like, I can't just go and bomb a test, so I need to somehow cram for my exam. And I just, I don't know, I didn't get around to doing that, because I had assignments I had to grade today, and it's like, I'd rather grade my assignments and study for my test that I need to do. I took a little bit of time off of work to study for the test to get out of the way. I told my boss, like, once my class wraps up, I won't have to worry about it. I just need it out of the way. I just need a little time to get it out of the way. And it's like, that sounds really bad. But I'm at the point where I need a break from Japanese class. The structure of the class I'm taking is just, I don't know. I guess I don't work well with it. Because it's not like an actual college course. It's at a learning center, like I mentioned before. Meaning we only meet once a week for an hour, and then, you know, everything else I have to do at home. And that's like part of the problem. It's like, I'll buy book upon book upon book. It's like, yeah, I have all these books, I just don't have the discipline to sit down and do them by myself. That's why I need a class. And I thought this would help. But it's like, nope, you're just gonna regurgitate what's in the book, and then you should go home and just do everything else on your own. I'm like, alright. And I'm just burnt out from it right now. Need a break. The teacher, I don't know, I'm at odds with the teacher, and it's not like I'm saying teaching is easy. Trust me, I get it. But it's just, I don't know, I just don't like how he handles things, and it doesn't mesh with me. I don't know. I'm gonna just keep saying I don't know. I'm just struggling right now because quitting makes me feel like he's right about shit he goes on about, and I don't like that, and I don't want to be a quitter. I just don't have the time for it right now. Like, at all. Like, if one thing has to go, it's like, I'd rather it be that, just because it's been causing me an amount of stress lately that I just don't want to deal with. Like, every week, I'm calling my sister or my boyfriend to complain about the class, because it just stresses me out. Like, there's no consistency with the class. Like, he'll say, oh, we're going to do this next week, and then we don't do that thing next week. And then he doesn't say anything about a quiz one week, and then the next week he's like, okay, there's a quiz. Like, you didn't fucking say that. Yeah, we should be studying then, but it's like, I don't know, what happens if something came up, and I didn't schedule time to necessarily study? If I knew there was a test, I would have made, I don't know, just feel like I'm making excuses, and I probably am. I'm just tired of it at the moment. I just need a break. But tonight and tomorrow, I gotta study right before class on Tuesday. It's probably not going to go over very well, but, you know, we'll take it as it comes at this point. I'm just... if I can get this little frustration out of the way, just for a teeny tiny bit, to deal with other things, it's probably for the best. I've been trying, I'm just not having all that much fun with it, and I'd rather do something else for a little bit. Which is my class. I'd rather teach my class than be in this other one. It just frustrates me. Anyway, I'm working on character design. I'm only cleaning up this one image just because I'm not cleaning up the rest of the sheet. I did this up as an example for my students, just so they had it. Talked a great deal about how much it's like I don't mean to speak ill of him, it's just I don't like how he handles certain things. It's like he can't be bothered to take notes for feedback when it comes to like structuring his class. He forgets like what we're actually supposed to be doing. Is like the inconsistency, it makes it hard to prepare for the things that we need to prepare for. And it's like, I get it, life isn't all rainbows and unicorns, but it's like this is a class where you're supposed to be learning. It's supposed to be a little bit more even in terms of the footing. It's not like he's tossing us in a foreign country. It's like, okay, have fun, bye. It's a classroom where you don't go through that. And it's like a while ago, to be honest, it's like I've been kind of discouraged about the class for a while. Because I tried starting a journal. I know I've mentioned this, but it's kind of relevant, right? Started a journal. I was like, I'm going to do nothing but write in it in Japanese. I thought it'd be good practice for sentence structure, kanji, all that fun shit. You know, writing about stuff pertinent to me in a more focused manner. It's like when I tried showing it to him, he's just like, well, I guess you can do that if you want to get a job doing that. I'm like, what? He just equates everything. It's like, you can't do a thing unless you have some kind of, you know, financial plan or something for it. Or if you plan on changing the world with your ability. Like, I don't know, he has this kind of, to me, this weird lofty viewpoint on doing anything. And he's like, well, yeah, I guess that's a good idea if you want to, you know, get a job in writing or reading. I'm like, isn't knowing how to do that a little bit part of it? And then of course he's like, yeah, most students, if they don't have a better reason than just liking anime, they don't get very far in it. Which is one reason why I'm struggling with quitting. Because it's like, okay, I got other reasons I'd like to learn other than just, I like anime. But it's like, I don't hide the fact that I like anime in class, and it just feels kind of like a weird flex, like a weird attack towards my reasons. I'm like, oh, okay, my reason isn't good enough for you. Compared to whatever grand ambition you have for learning the language. And it's just annoying, like it's just discouraging. It's like, oh, you like anime and you got into learning Japanese? Well, you're probably not going to do well in it because your motivation sucks. I'm like, why would you even kind of go in, like, this is me paraphrasing, of course, but it's like, why would you even, I don't know, get into the realm of maybe even insinuating thinking that way, because that's what he's doing. And then he brings up the foreword for this one book. He's like, yeah, in it they call, you know, English speakers that are learning the language, like, unintelligent because they don't have a good enough reason. I'm like, why would you tell anybody trying to learn this language this, if not to discourage them? Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand the need to bring that up. And it's like, ever since he said it, however long ago, it's been stuck in my head. And then the other night, he mentioned the same exact thing. And it just makes me angry. And I asked, I was like, what is with you in anime? I don't understand. What's wrong with anime? Like, I don't get it. It's just annoying, and it rubs me the wrong way. It makes me angry. It's like when you go to art school and they're like, oh, you only want to go into animation because of anime? Well, that's not a good reason, because Western anime, Disney-styled Western anime is the best, and you probably should just forget anything. Like, god damn it. I hate the argument there, too. Like, can we stop? I don't get what's with this weird flexing attack on people's reasons for doing a thing that's technically kind of them trying to better themselves or learn something new in some way. Like, what the fuck even? It just really frustrating to me. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It makes me mad. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you think you're better than me because you have a better reason to do anything. If you don't have a good reason, you're gonna be good at it. I was like, oh, okay. So you're saying the reason I have is not a good reason? I don't know, I just... And if the same exact thing he told me didn't get brought up again in class, it's like, maybe I would have let it go. But no, he's still harping on that. It wasn't like some misspoken, misinterpreted thing. That's just the weird mindset he has, and it's just dumb. It is just dumb. And it's like, does he know anybody that knows Klingon, Elvish maybe from Lord of the Rings? It's like, people don't do that. I mean, okay, there might be some weird financial tie to it, but most people that do that do it because they kind of like the thing it's from. I guess it's a little bit different, but it's like, heaven forbid you do or learn anything for fun. You shouldn't play sports in school or something unless you plan on going into, you know, professional anything. What's that? You don't plan on making money with a thing you learn. Why? You're just wasting your time now. You're not going to get anything out of that if it's not for actual, you know, financial gain. Like, shut the fuck up. I just... gives me a headache. If I'm not careful, I'm gonna go into the freezer and get out the thing of ice cream I have in there and just start eating it because I'm angry. And I shouldn't eat when I'm angry. But food is yummy. It makes me feel a bit better. It's terrible. Terrible. See, that's a bad reason to eat. Just because I'm upset. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just annoyed. Like, that's why I can't do the next course if it's with the same teacher, and it's with the same teacher. It's like, I'm just gonna be constantly frustrated. I'm not gonna have any fun. It's like, I get that it's hard. I'm not saying make it easier. It's just, it's not fun. Hard things can be fun too, you know? Of course, I don't know. his definition of fun is off or something. It's like I get that that's like a subjective thing, but still. Good golly, Miss Molly. I think it also just annoys me that he can't tell, like, I'm frustrated every time something like this happens, until, like, recently. My teacher actually pulled me aside at the end of class to ask me, like, you know, what was wrong? And it's like, and I told him, pretty much, well, I've just been busy lately. I've had a lot on my mind, and so I'm not coming back next, I guess, class. I can't say semester. It's like, I should have probably told, I'll probably do it in an email or something, a weird Zoom thing. Like, well, another reason why I'm not coming back is I just don't like how it's structured. I don't know. It's like, maybe think a little bit more about what you're saying to your students before you say it and how they might, you know, take it. Just a little bit, anyway. Just a teeny tiny bit. Like, you might just say, you know, be trying to be honest with them and innocently bringing it up, like, oh, well, it's already tough without you saying, oh, your reason is gonna make it even tougher, and it's not a good reason. Just, it's not healthy. It doesn't encourage people to keep up with it. It's like, now they're gonna sit there and flounder for a better reason based off whatever criteria he has for a reason on learning a language, and then, because, you know, their main draw for it isn't good enough for the teacher, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know, I guess it's just me reading into it too much, like, okay, so you already think I'm, I don't know, some kind of failure or something because I happen to like the one thing you say isn't a good reason for doing the thing? Oh no! It's not a good way to go about it, I don't think. It's just kind of a hindrance. It's like, I get it, they get people in there that are learning the language for business reasons. But it's like, if you keep saying, it's like, oh, if you like anime, you're not gonna do good, to like, every time someone new comes in the room, there's a good chance that person's like, oh, guess that applies to me. Guess I'm going to struggle and I'm not going to be able to get it or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. And when it comes to my class, I mean, yeah, it's been a struggle by itself. Like, I'm new to it. I've taught before, but not to this capacity. And my class is all online, so it's like handling that is like an extra layer. But it's like, you go through, right, and you learn things for animation, and then you just kind of do them, and then you don't think too much about them later on, so it's like having to reiterate, like, animation principles or how to do a thing without just saying, well, it's easy, just do the thing, is a little bit difficult because I haven't had to think in that capacity, really. So that's been kind of like a struggle. It's like, ah, shit, I don't know how to reiterate my thoughts. I can't formulate them into coherent anything that doesn't sound like I actually don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, I know kind of what I'm talking about, I just don't know how to tell it to you, because it's all gone, like, subconscious at this point. It's not like I had practice telling other people how to do it right before I had to start telling people how to do it. And again, it's like, that's why when it comes back to my teacher in Japanese class, like, I get it. Teaching can be a pain. It can be hard. But I don't know. It's like you get feedback from a student. Maybe listen to that feedback a little bit, teeny tiny bit. I get feedback related to the segment I'm teaching that's not maybe even directed at me, and it's like I flip out. Of course, there's me we're talking about, and most things I flip out at. But I don't know. I'm still getting into the mindset of it, I suppose. And it's finding that balance. It's like, okay, these kids are technically in college, but they're like freshmen or something, so they're also still babies that don't know the things that I already know because I already did the thing. It's like, and I need to keep that in mind. It's like, okay, I have to tell them what they're doing, but I don't want to talk down to them. I'm afraid of talking down to them and them resenting me because I spoke down to them and didn't give them, you know, a little bit more agency in figuring out what they need to do. But then it's like I don't explain things enough, and then they complain I didn't give them enough, you know, instruction. Or then I give them a lot of instruction and then they don't do the thing anyway. It's like, what do you want me to do? It's like, I get it. It's hard. I can't tell you how many times I told him, it's like, if you need anything, you have to contact me because I can't read minds. On that note, maybe I should have emailed Matt more often, my Japanese teacher, and, you know, let him know directly instead of waiting until class. I mean, okay, that's also on me. I get it. I don't want to sit here and play the blame game. But it's like, there have been times when I have tried to be straightforward about it, and then nothing happens anyway. And it's like, cool, I'm so glad that I tried to bring this to your attention and you just... nothing happened. I guess that just means it's on me. I did something wrong again. Or something. Just, it's just frustrating. Do I want to do... I don't know though. This is part of the reason though I just don't have time for Japanese class right now. It's just figuring out what I'm doing with my class. I was like, and I'd rather put the effort into that than Japanese at the moment because I just do. I think it's just better if I step away from doing my Japanese class. Like, I can just go through the book or whatever on my own time at my leisure. Figure it out that way. Not wonder if I am going to have a quiz or something the next week that I wasn't told about because I wasn't told about it. Something like that. So... I don't know. Right now I'm just probably overthinking any and everything that's coming into my head, as I do. Right now my finger hurts. The tip of my index finger on my right hand is oddly sore. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it hurts from the tip down to here. Sort of down to here, right? But the rest of the finger is fine. It's just, and it's just that one finger. And it's like, what the fuck did I do for this now? I don't know. I thought, my boyfriend said something, I was like, oh, maybe you have a sliver or something in it. It's like, I don't see anything, I can't feel anything. Tried taking a piece of tape to it to see if that pulled out anything and didn't really do anything. I don't know, it started hurting after I tried to take apart my PS4. Like, the top of your PS4 can, at least like the PS4 Pro, can come off so you can, you know, clean the fan out inside of it. And I was trying to get it open to clean out the fan. And I still couldn't get it open. It's like my fingers started hurting after that. And I was like, ah, shit, what did I do? I thought maybe I just, you know, pulled at it too hard and it hurt my finger. I thought it would stop hurting by this point, and it hasn't, because it's been like 2 days. So I'm now dying via my finger, as you do. But I don't know. That's why we're just gonna sit here and draw stuff. Drawing stuff is fun, I guess. I don't know. I don't mean to complain so much. I just have a lot on my mind right now, I suppose. Trying to find a balance between all of it, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those I'll get it figured out eventually kind of dealies, I suppose. Now it's just struggling through it a little bit. I don't want to do that. Oops. I don't know. I guess it's just a little bit manic right now. It'll calm down eventually, I hope. Just right now, I need one less thing off of my plate. And Japanese class has been... It's been up for that consideration for a while. I don't want to quit. Like I said, I don't know, prove my teacher right. It's like, oh, she quit because she liked anime, so learning the language was too hard. Or something. But it's like, it's just taking a toll on me mentally. And it's like, I don't feel like dealing with this. Like, this level of stress. Right now. So I'm gonna go take a break. If that's weakness on my part, then whatever, I suppose, in this instance. Just, I can only take so much. I guess I also find it funny, it's like, it's been a year since we all started Japanese class with this teacher, and he's like, yeah, after your exams, or after our finals, I want to meet with you all before we go into the next part for, like, consultations to see if you should go into the next part or not, or take Japanese 2 over again. And kind of learn the reasons why you guys are learning the language. Like, I'm sorry, you're only asking us that now? Okay. That's... okay. It's been a year. It's been at least a year. A little over a year. And you're just now kind of prodding our brains as to our reasons. And then that's when he went into his entire thing. It's like, because... oh, for the next book, if your reason is just that you like anime, it's gonna be really hard. And I'm like, oh great, here we go again. Can we stop? Can you stop? And he never stops. Never ever stops. I need a color for the gym on his... Oh, what color do I want? Blue? Do pink? Let's just do pink. Alright, I have pink on here. Oh shit, what? Oh. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Let me change it later. Whoa. I want to draw pictures. I want to draw pictures. I don't know if I like seeing the lining on the inside of the collar though. I'm gonna get rid of that. This is the lining of the jacket on the collar. See them on the cuffs, but that's fine. Anyway, how's everyone else been doing lately? Already into February, month 2 of the 2021s. Blah. Now, it's fine. It should be anyway. If not, I'm gonna be a little bit mad later. Now we're gonna go over to the Clip Studios and do stuff in here. Now, here's one example of things that I'm nervous about talking about in class coming up. Is we're doing expression tests, which those by themselves I think is fairly straightforward, but I gotta talk about timing charts, and I'll be honest, I don't think I was ever taught how to use timing charts in animation, like at all, which is kind of bad, but I don't know how. I was looking it up the other day, I was like, yeah, I don't remember being told how to do any of this. It's like I get the gist of it. It's not like I don't understand what they're used for. Do you have any good resources, Brian? I'll take them. Like, okay, I get the general concept. Don't get me wrong. I watched a few different videos the other day trying to do it, like figure it out, and then I was like reading through the Richard Williams book and then the Preston Blair book. I'm like, okay, yeah, get it. It was like, and then I watched this video, and then they were just talking about thirds, and I'm like, thirds? What do I do with thirds? I'm not sure how to use thirds, which is annoying. See, because I don't know if this is just like weird imposter syndrome or something. See, I guess I never asked Steve. I don't feel like it got brought up. I don't remember him going over it when I went through, which makes me feel terrible. But it's like, see, in general, when it comes to like pose to pose animation, I can't say I'm really good at that either, because I just go. I start and I go. I just go. I'm a more straightforward animator. So it's like having to shift a little bit. I'm like, oh no! Oh no! I don't know. It makes me feel a little incompetent as an animator, to be honest. So when I saw that, like, on my lesson plan, I started, like, not sweating. I could have, I suppose. Well, let's just say I was sweating about it. I was like, oh, fuck. It's just... not. Just thinking about it frustrates me a little bit. I don't know. It's like, now I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna have to attempt to teach these kids this. And I'm just going to sound like the biggest moron. And then there's gonna be like feedback like, our teacher doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm like, ow. Oh god, I started talking about it and now I'm all worked up. About it, I think actually gives me a mild panic attack. I don't know, I think it's because when I look at charts, right? I realize like, oh no, I don't know how to do this. And so I like I don't feel qualified to be talking about this. And then I feel like I betrayed the people that asked me, hey, do you want to do the thing? Because you know how to do things? And I'm like, then I see a thing that I don't actually know how to do. And I'm like, uh-oh. 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 Basically, when you do a time sheet, you're trying to figure out how many things you're going to need. Well, yeah, no, I get that, but see, that's, like I said, that's not how because I haven't actually worked on, like, a production where I had an amount of, like, a specific amount of time. Like, I only had, like, a couple seconds to do things, right? I would just do the thing, and when it was done, it was done. And that's where I left it. And I don't know, nobody corrected me. They just kind of let me go. The only thing I ever got from Steve was like, oh, more in-betweens. I'm like, okay. And then I would just do that. I don't know. I'm not blaming Steve. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm getting a bit of like imposter syndrome going on right now, because like, oh no, and then you go in and read about it, and then they start going on about how, oops, apparently I've been numbering things wrong because I just number things sequentially. I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know. Oh, I feel bad talking about it. And I have to talk about this tomorrow and not have a fucking conniption fit. I don't know. They're gonna call me out for being an idiot in class or something. My teacher didn't know anything. And it frustrates me. It's like, I'll sit down and I'll read a thing, and then you're always like, they're very simple once you understand them. It's like, but I don't know, it's not clicking. It's not clicking. was like, oh great, now I'm a bad animator on top of everything else. Okay, so it's like, see, if most of the videos I was watching had maybe a breakdown like this, the thirds here make sense. Yeah, okay, I get that. Anybody see here? I make noises now. That's what talking is, to be honest, but you know. I just didn't learn how to do these ever. You look at anything I've done, I've never used any of this at all. Doesn't have to be horizontal, I'm used to them being vertical. I don't know, and I know that doesn't even matter. Let's see, I watched this video. I'm pretty sure I watched this video, and it's like he just mentions thirds. I'm like, for some reason I don't understand what that means. I don't know. Maybe I'm just struggling right now because it's like, oh. Like I'm trying and I don't know the thing. I don't know. I'm just doing keyframes right now. That's not an excuse to not figure this out. I need to figure it out. I don't know. It's very frustrating for me. I don't even know what two expressions I want to do for my character. This isn't good. Fucking... I don't know. Thinking about it actually just gives me a level of anxiety I don't think I can fully express that I am feeling right this moment. It just makes me feel terrible because I don't know the thing that apparently I should have known, but I honestly don't remember ever going over it. Ever. And I was like, that's on me for something, I don't know. I feel terrible that I don't know at all. Like, using this brush. I just wish there was a way to... I don't know what I wish this brush did. Not what it's doing, and that doesn't make any sense. just whenever I animated, it was just... I was just doing what felt okay. I didn't think too much when it came to timing charts. And the most I ever used X-Sheets for was dialogue breakdown. Like, honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of an embarrassment as an animator the more I think about it. I want to say yes, I'm struggling right now. Like, I almost feel like I need to shift gears for a little bit and work on something else, or else I'm gonna have like some kind of weird fit about everything. I don't know, like, it just... I feel terrible thinking about it, that I don't know. I might just need to shift focus for a little bit. I can't focus on this because it's messing with my head. Like, a lot. I don't know. I think I'm just not ready to... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's because I feel bad. Because apparently I'm incompetent because I don't know this thing that apparently I should have known, and I don't know the thing. So I'm struggling with that fact that I don't know it. It's like a weird... It's like an embarrassed anxiety because I don't know it. It's like I want help with it, but just even admitting that just makes me feel bad. Like, oh shit, I'm the biggest idiot. on the planet because I don't know how to do this thing. Is what's going on, I think. I should use a different layer for this. I did it. Forgetting what OST I put on. I originally had Kingdom Hearts on, but I know Kingdom Hearts music can be a pain in the ass to not get like copyright shit on, and that's annoying if I have to go in and have to edit the audio for a stream because I felt like listening to Kingdom Hearts music while I drew shit. God damn it, eraser. Stop it. That's why I was like, why the fuck is this not tapering? Like I said, I was trying to learn how to use the vector tool in this the other day. So I was defaulting to the vector eraser that this program has. It's actually pretty cool, the vector eraser. This character at all. That's not happening. Why'd I hit save? There's nothing here. I don't know. I'm sorry to be weird about this. It's just it's one of those difficult kind of things for me to just grapple with, because I'm just making excuses. But I never learned how to do it. I guess I'm just scared to attempt to learn. It's like, because I've tried on my own and it's like I couldn't figure it out. It's like I'm just not capable or something is how it feels. I don't even know, like, a part of me wants to say, it's like, oh, and this is like similar shit to how I'm feeling in Japanese class. Like, I already second guess myself enough as it is, and it's like, now it's like even worse. It's like, oh, I'm quitting class, and it's because I don't have a good enough reason to have done the thing, and now it's like, it's leaking into other things. Again, that's just me making excuses. I'm just bad at what I do or something. Because I don't know the thing I should know how to do. I like this brush in here. I do. I just wish it... I don't know. I guess guess I wish the texture I had on it was a bit tighter. Right? Texture density. Do I want a higher density on it? What is a lower density? What is this plus? Scale ratio. Do I want the scale ratio up? I don't even remember where it's at. No, I want that. 1? I don't think that's what I wanted. No, that just made, no, that looks bad. What the? Lower the minimum value. Bit. Still wish the texture was a bit closer together, but that actually feels a bit better. If I had these settings on a regular brush, would it feel better? I like the texture. I don't know, I just like textures on my brushes, but I don't want it just by speed. No, wait. Stabilization mode. Paintbrush, no. Wait, maybe? Is that what I want? No, I don't think it is. I'm gonna leave it there, see what happens. But I don't think that's what I want. No, that doesn't seem to be changing the thing I wanted to change at all. Texture. Oh, wait, it wasn't even on. Okay. I can't tell if that's what I want either, actually, so it doesn't matter. Say it feels better. But it pin pressure output. I don't think I want that. Make this like I do not want this on. Do I just want this neutral? Difference between this 4 and this 8. It doesn't feel like it. Thickness of brush tip. Let's change it into a weird decoration brush. I don't want that. I want crosshatch. No, I don't want crosshatching. Color, no. Spraying effect? No. Stroke. Emphasize density. Invert? No, I probably don't want that. Select texture, set to brush. Do I want to change the texture? I don't. Pencil? That pencil doesn't. Let's do pencil. What does pencil look like? Does that look any different? That doesn't. It doesn't feel any different. Unless for some reason those are like the weirdly same textures, but they're labeled differently, and so they are supposed to be different, but they're not different. I could probably go look up like ones users created, but I just haven't yet. Whenever I go into like weird brush directories for drawing programs, Sai doesn't have one, which is one reason why I'm not used to doing it. But it's like you try and look like, I think it was a GIMP brushes back in the day when I was looking into brushes. Like it just, oof, that can be overwhelming. Like I just want one that draws nice. Kind of want like a pencil texture with like a weird fade on it, and I can never find one that I'm looking for, like ever. I just use a thin brush. Using a thinner brush doesn't seem... It does something, but... I don't think it likes the texture on it as part of the problem. Which is annoying, because that's what I want on the brush. This doesn't feel good at all. If I'm not doing fine details, this isn't terrible. This is also a really big brush. What happens if I take the texture off of it? Let's just take the texture off of it. Is there a no texture? Copy value. None. Wait a minute. What is this? I shouldn't have done that, because I used this brush for other things. I guess I'll just put pencil back on it. Find texture 2. Oh god, no. Oh no, 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 no. Where's pencil? Just put pencil back on it. Pencil. Yeah, there you go. Okay. What I'm going to do is that we will duplicate this. Sketch pencil. Yay. texture really what was messing me up? Is that really what was... Like, it has a texture to it. Why does it still have a texture to it? Is there another texture setting? Did I have like 2 textures on it and that was just causing issues? I don't know how brushes work in this program. Oh, this feels so much better though. What? Okay. I mean, I'll take that. I'm not gonna complain about... Okay. Sure. Alright. This feels a heck of a lot better. I feel like the density is changing properly. Alright. Well, that's one thing that's fixed. Okay, Brian, if you're still around, let's do a call. I'm feeling strangely better about something. I don't know what. My anxiety's gone away for like a minute. So let's do a thing. Let's do this thing. Please teach me, I beg of you. I need help understanding this a bit more than the level of understanding I have, which is like... Yes. Oh, this pencil feels so much better! God damn! Am I only in a better mood because I fixed my pencil and I feel like I could punch somebody out of joy? Not you, Brian. Just... You guys ever get that weird, happy, destructive feeling? Is that just me? Am I making myself look a bit crazy because I wanna... I'm gonna stop. Pop into her. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Double echo vibration. Wow, okay. Alright.
So
I had your stream on.
I
so
say, yeah, feel free to mute me on stream if you need to.
Okay, so couple quick little down dirty secrets to think about when you're filling out these little time charts and everything. Steve told me the best way to think about them is you're trying to position how many frames you want at the beginning of something or at the end or in the middle. So depending on where the action is going to be the biggest wind up is where you want the most frames.
Well, I mean, it's like I get that.
Think about
It's
it like,
because when we did ball bounces, you know, I had the kids do layouts, and it's like, okay, you want your balls to ease in, you know, up here because gravity and shit. So those are like rudimentary timing charts. It's just explaining them in a more, what's the word? I don't know.
comprehensible way.
Yeah, it's like, see what we're doing here, because even so, here I'll pull this up on stream. Right, we did the leaf drops. I was like, okay, for yours, kind of plot out where things are. I'm like, okay, you know, this will lead into what we're talking about later. But it's like, I don't know how to explain that except just draw the thing that you did.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So can you pull that up again?
Oh, yay. I don't know why I closed it. And then, you know, for the ball, I was like, it's kind of like this, except instead of drawing the ball on your outline, you're going to be drawing tick marks.
Well, yeah, and that's basically all a time chart really is sometimes. It's a lot of times time charts aren't really necessary. That's kind of what you were getting at when you said you never really used them because you were just kind of feeling the motion. That's generally what you want to do more than filling out. When you fill out those little time charts, they're just there for a reference for an artist, really. So it's like, all right, so you get through all this animation, you get all your keys done, and now you want to figure out where I want to put the most frames to give me that ease in and then ease out. Like, what's going to give me the best anticipation? What's going to give me the best kind of build up to really make that, really make it pop, you know? So, and there are tons of different animation studios that do things so differently too. I mean, Cartoon Network is basically, they have the most like poppy animation. When you look at like Gumball or there were a dozen of them, and none of them come to mind right now. But if you've seen Gumball, you'll see how poppy they are. Those time charts are ridiculous because they have they have basically all their frames in like the ends, and then the middle portion is just open.
See, I found
that's exactly it.
I found this like earlier. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. It's like I get it. It's just when you go into it, especially if you go into the Richard Williams book, then it talks about numbering. It's like, well, you should just number them on even numbers, and then if you need to put in ones, then you put those ones in on the odd. On odd numbers, then you put them in on even numbers. I'm like, I just always numbered them as I went. I didn't think about that kind of shit because I didn't.
All right. So, Steve, another thing Steve said about that is, look, when you're first going over that book, and I went through it like 10 years ago, so I'm gonna kind of I'm doing this kind of a little bit by memory. I had a conversation with Steve maybe 2 years ago about this. So basically the rule of thumb is a time chart is only there for the animator themselves. It's a tool that an animator will use to kind of test out from their first keyframe to the last frame to kind of figure out, okay, where do I need the most frames? How is this going to help my performance? And how much time allotted do I have to work on this? So those three things are the basic three principles. Because if you look at television animation, they don't have time for shit.
Yeah,
see, that's anything.
That's the thing, though. It's like when you're working in college, it's like, okay, they might give you like a time limit, but okay, at least when I was going through with Steve, it's like, okay, do 10 seconds of this. Not you only have 10 seconds. Do it like at least 10 seconds. If I did 30, he didn't care. So it's
like an overachiever if you did 30.
I was having fun. I just went and I did the thing.
Exactly.
So it's like when I see time charts, I'm like, but I don't know if I'm supposed to be limiting how long the kids' things are supposed to be, necessarily. So it's like, oh shoot.
Are these college kids or are they?
This is for Animation 1. No, they're freshmen at CCS.
Oh, you're teaching. Okay.
Yeah, no, I am where Steve was when I was there. I don't know what Steve is doing. I guess he's moved on to 3D. I know he was teaching 3D there near the end.
Oh wow, that's surprising. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't really peg him as like like any kind of computer person.
He is, but he isn't. So the thing with Steve to remember is he's always kind of expanding his craft.
Yeah.
The guy has probably forgotten more about animation than anyone will ever learn. That being said, it's never a bad thing to even bug him on Facebook if you're having trouble. If you want to get the point across, because this is a community. This is CCS. It's a community. We all want to help each other. So, I mean, you were talking earlier about how you said, you felt like a failure because you weren't going to teach him. Honestly, I don't see that. You're there. You're providing them with an atmosphere to where they can work on something they actually care about.
Well, I think part of it is like we had like a meeting and there was like feedback from like the kids and they were complaining is like, oh, there was no specification of which teacher it was. It's just there was feedback about one of the animation one teachers, one of the animation one classes, and it was like the kid said something like, "Oh, our teacher's wishy-washy. There's a lot of dead space, and they're relying on all these outside like resources and crap." And of course, I'm going to be like, "Oh no, that was probably me because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing the first day of class." So it's like, I, and like I said, it's hard to like switch to like the mindsets like they don't know the things I already know because I already heard these once, and I just can't assume that they've heard them in some capacity somewhere. So it's like there's stuff I've accidentally left out. I'm like, oh, that's right. They're babies. They don't know. They don't know the things.
They think that the main misconception that I've always had about CCS is that when someone, and I went there a few times and talked to a few of the sophomores, and they seem to be under this impression that they're there to learn everything they need and that the teachers know everything. That is beyond freaking wrong. I mean, I've had lengthy conversations with different teachers that they were like, dude, I've learned this stuff on the fly. I mean, David Bentley was the car design, worked for the Ford company for the longest time, and he was doing car designs and everything for them for a while. And then he made a move to do other things. And it really surprised me when I actually had a conversation with him. I had him for the first year, the first time he went on the go around. And honestly, he gave me area where I could work and do whatever concept work I felt like I wanted to do. I really wish though that there were some presentations I wish that someone would have got up and knocked my freaking ass out because I presented in a way that was looking back I kind of cringe at it because okay, so there's one presentation where I just was in the worst mood I possibly could be. And I remember presenting and I remember getting no reaction from anybody. I remember, asking for a critique. And then, it was part of this whole presentation. I had like 4 other designs ready. And so I had the first design, and then I'm like, and I'm explaining it a little bit. I'm getting into a little bit of the detail, and then I present it, done. Crickets.
That's always fun, isn't it?
And I'm just like, okay, I didn't get a single reaction out of that. All right, let me try the second one. Second one, and my attitude started to get worse. And I was just like, okay, we're going to move on to the third one. I'll make it short and sweet because none of you seem to really care. I actually said that to the entire class. And then the fourth one, it's just like, yeah, here's another pretty picture. Okay, fifth one. And I'm done. Thank you. And I just sat down. I just got up and sat down. I was so just frustrated at the end of that. And it wasn't anything that Dave did. That was all on me, actually. And it was like, it was a terrible time for me at that point because it was senior year and I was having trouble trying to figure out how to pay for some of the classes. So I was dealing with that and then and making excuses for myself not to get work done. Not just pretty, but and I wish I could show you, but my Wacom decided not to work. So my pen's not working for whatever reason. So.
I don't know. It's like, see, when it comes to like the entire presentation thing, right?
Right.
It's really hard because I'm teaching a Zoom only class.
Right.
And only like 2 or 3 of them will ever have their webcam on. So it's like I can't tell if they're listening to me. When I like ask if they have any questions, no one says anything. It's like, okay, if you guys don't say anything, I'm gonna assume you're fine. And then if you go and complain later on, oh, you didn't explain. You didn't ask, ding dong. I can't read minds. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm saying enough, if I'm saying too little. They're not saying. And then they'll ask me questions that I know I said. It's like, are you not paying attention? What do you want me to do? So it's like having that like lack of feedback, and I'm like, oh no. And then you get feedback from like a third party, like apparently, or stuff that you can maybe think was used, like apparently your due dates were moving, didn't explain enough. I was like, no one fucking said nothing. How did I fucking supposed to know?
See, and that's another thing. Like, I feel like at CCS there was this kind of newbie, kind of noob kind of vibe that everyone had. Like, I think because I went to school with Patrick Stannard,
Okay.
Melissa Miller,
Mm-hmm.
who later married and became
Yeah,
Melissa Bontrager,
with Niles.
famously
Yeah.
of Java Doodle, and Niles Bontrager was in the class. Kate Burke,
It's like
Eric
everyone knew him
Greener.
for Code Monkey. You could not go anywhere without hearing about Code Monkey by Niles after I got there. Cause it's
Exactly.
like,
So what was amazing about being in those classes were there was not a single damn critique that did not get an input
mm-hmm.
because everyone was gung ho about everyone was asking questions. But there were some classes where I felt like the first freshman classes there was dead silence for the first couple of
Yeah,
like
it's trying to get them to like open up without it being the same four people.
well
Cause
because
I actually have a class of 20. It's like I don't remember my class being that large. There's maybe a dozen of us.
I remember there was either between a dozen and 15
Well, I'm
15 people in there.
I'm one animation one class out of four. That's how much they've grown in the last bit of time. There's a shit ton of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of illustrators are getting interested in the animation prospect too.
Yeah, I think one of them said that she's like an illustration major, and she did it. She's like either a sophomore or maybe a junior, and she's doing it as an elective.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me because we also had some illustrators too.
Mm-hmm.
We had Chris Hart actually was in a few of my classes too. Chris Hart is famously known for his work on Gravity Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the hell? Lumberjack Bear Lumberjack. What the hell was
BoJack.
that?
Wait,
No,
what?
not BoJack.
Sorry,
It
you
had
said.
to do with a lumberjack and a bear. And it was this comic series that he made that Nickelodeon has yet to pick up yet. But that was like 10 years ago. But anyways, he worked on Gravity Falls. He also worked on a few Nickelodeon things. I think he actually worked on maybe some SpongeBob stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was like his first break, but I know he was big with the Gravity Falls because he did some of the character designs for those.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know.
he was amazing.
See. It's like when it comes to this class, like again, it's like I don't want to baby them where they think I'm talking down to them, but it's like obviously they need me to hold their hand to some extent. It's like I don't remember being this helpless when I went through. Is it just like a weird generation gap? Am I showing my age?
I don't know. I think if you look on the internet, there's like a billion different resources you can go to. There's like a billion of them. I could sit all day and click on YouTube, like show me storyboarding critiques, and I will get like 1,000 of those, and I'll just freaking throw them on shuffle and listen to them in the background as I'm working on stuff for my job right now. And what kind of is very enlightening about it is listening to these guys critique and talk about the very fine art of crafting. Now, does all of the stuff stick? No, because I'm trying to focus on my job while simultaneously learning something. But for these kids nowadays, it seems like it has to be like we have to kind of like grab their attention when really back when we were going we were vying for the teacher's attention. It's been this kind of reverse now, like the teacher has to try and get the student's attention whereas we were trying to get the teacher's attention. So I think like right now is I don't think your students are necessarily like helpless or naive. I think they're nervous and they're trying to deal with stress. They're trying to deal with, how do I make this work? I want this to work. I want this to be a career. And I love doing this. I think a conversation at the beginning of the year, telling them, look, you are picking something that is ever fucking changing. There is no set path to guarantee that you are going to get a job doing what you want to. You have to understand this. I hate to baby you, but you have to understand this. There is a level at which that you need to perform at when you're here. There are questions you need to ask. And you also need to understand that your teachers don't know shit. And
see, I don't want.
No. I'm not. Let me finish.
Okay.
That we are also learning because art is a never-ending learning cycle. We are just as foolish as you were back when we were started. The thing is, we're still learning. We're still trying to make this work for ourselves, and we're still trying to expand upon our own craft and make it better. I mean,
I think
in a nutshell, that's kind of what I've kind of learned over the years talking with students before. And I tried to make the student show every year. This last year was the one year that I, since graduating, since I didn't make it. Actually, I went before I even went to TCS. I love going down to Detroit and checking out that student fair.
I haven't been in a few years. There was a few years there I was actually working as like one of the people that helped with like sales, which is fun because it's like, okay, I could sit around and look at art, maybe go play one of the game demos, and it's like people only bother if they want to buy stuff. It's like, I'm gonna play game demos, but no, see, like I didn't want to go and swing as like, hi, I'm new, this is my first time, because like I don't want them to be like, oh, this teacher doesn't know anything, let's bully her. So it's like I don't know, we didn't have like a full like a good icebreaker. We went through the syllabus, and then it's like going over the principles, shit like that. And it's like I haven't actually showed them anything that I did, because it's like, okay, I want to make sure that we cover the stuff that they want to know, but it's like at the same time it's like I wonder if they just think I don't know what I'm doing or something.
See, I think if you would have shown them what you've done and showed them like where you started and your progression since leaving CCS, I think that would have carried a lot more weight to them being like, oh, this person was just the same person I am now.
Well, it's not like I don't show.
Somehow learned.
I don't show. It's not like I don't show stuff as we go. It's just I kind of didn't get around to like a full introductory thing with like my reel all the way. Then I did the boomer thing the first day of class, and I wasn't sharing my screen when I was talking about stuff, and they didn't say anything until like 15 minutes in. It's like, why didn't you guys say something earlier? It's like, if I'm talking and you don't see something that correlates to what I'm talking about on the screen, say something a lot sooner than what you guys did. It's like, holy shit, they let me go way too long. So I was a little bit angry at them.
They trolled you that bad?
I don't know. Like, they're like, you're talking, but we don't see anything. Are you supposed to be sharing your screen? I'm like, where were you 15 minutes ago? 10 minutes ago? Let's see how long she goes before she realizes.
I was sending out psychic visuals. You're not getting any of this?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Animators are psychic.
I'm a 10th level telepath. What are you talking about? You should be getting an image right now.
Yeah.
Are you wearing Magneto's helmet?
Take that off.
If you are, take it off.
I don't know.
I'd be messing with them. I really would. I'd be turning around them. How about I turn around on you? Why couldn't you tell me that? That way I didn't waste 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's like, I didn't actually show them, like, I asked them, I was like, at what point was I not sharing my screen? It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, did you see the demo? Like, I think I pulled up my demo reel. I was like, I don't know. I don't remember what was on it. It's like, so you weren't watching. What? Again, it's like, it's hard to tell if they're paying attention because they don't have their webcams on. Some of them do. But not a lot of them. It's like, oh, great. I don't know if they're, like, you know, if it was an in-person class, it would probably be way different. Because then I could be like, hey, stop reading Narnia or something. That's just a reference because...
You're in front of an entire audience that's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. I mean, I can see the value in, like, an impersonal learning. That only works if the people who are taking that want to be there.
Yeah.
With this kind of thing, though, I kind of feel like it doesn't help everybody. And, like, you said you had, like, a class of 20 people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say, like, 5 of those are illustrators, and the other 15 are probably people who want to learn animation. The people who want to learn the animation are probably trying to fill an elective. Like, okay, well, I got to get a 2D animation class out of my way. I don't see why I got to learn this in order to learn 3D. Because I remember that being one of the stipulations. As someone told me, it was like, I'm busting my ass to do this 2D animation, and this guy's just half-assing it. What am I missing here? And I leaned over and I started a conversation with the guy, and I think I can't remember who it is, and I don't want to speak ill of anybody who I know of or might know of or might happen to run into again and be like, yo, what the hell? So I will say that this person was a 3D major and that his core curriculum included him taking traditional animation. Now, traditional animation to a 3D artist is kind of a pain in the ass.
It's like, oh no, I gotta draw shit. I'm not good at drawing this shit.
And they get to that point where they're like, why do I gotta learn this? Why? And what they don't realize is, and I love... Why am I blanking on his name so bad? I hate names. I just hate names. I can't learn any of them.
No, I get it. Whenever I go to a family...
Reads? No, he was the guy who... He just did this whole animation thing about his life. He got an award. It was he was the first African American animator of Disney. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is he like, did he work on like the Proud Family? And I feel like I've seen it mentioned lately. I don't know. I'm bad with names too. And it's like whenever this is another thing that makes me feel bad. Is like people, they're like, oh, kids don't even know the 9 old men anymore. It's like, I don't technically know them either. I know why they're important, but I'm not gonna be able to like rattle them all off because it's like I just didn't know. Like that's not something Steve's like, okay, we're gonna have a quiz on the 9 old men now. He's like, no, animate the ball bounce and do it. I'm like, okay, bye. It's like when it comes to names, it's just like I'm not good with names. It's like if you start rattling off like video game directors, like, yeah, there's certain ones I'm going to recognize, like everybody.
Floyd Norman, that's who it is. Okay, so Floyd Norman. Okay, now I got it. Now I'm in the zone now.
Gotcha.
So Floyd Norman, flipped his freaking name again, came in and did a lecture, and it was amazing. I sat through the whole thing and actually got to watch this whole film and everything about his struggle and where he came from and how he actually integrated into 3D animation, and he taught classes to 3D animators. And what kind of annoyed me was at the end of that presentation, the current director that was there, and this was 2 years ago. I remember this vividly because I was actually supposed to go up north for a little while because I was trying to get away from... I was trying to take like a weekend vacation. So basically I had this whole hotel and everything arranged, and then Steve's like, hey, if you come Friday, we can go over your portfolio, because I was in the middle of updating my portfolio because work kind of sucked around that time.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, well, okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. So I changed all my plans. I'm like, so what time should I get there? And he goes, well, I got Floyd Norman speaking, so anytime after... Wait, Floyd Norman, why does that name sound familiar? And Steve sent me, and I think Steve actually sent me a link, and I looked at this, and I was just like, oh! And then I was like, oh, man, I'm going to go down there. And I got there early. I sat with Steve for a minute, and we chatted a little bit. And he goes, okay, well, I got to go take care of my business. I'm going, okay, yeah, you go. I'll just sit here. So I remember sitting all the way in the back because I wanted to make sure that all the students were right up in front and they could ask their questions and everything. 'Cause I just wanted to be there as an observer.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take away from the students. I don't want to be one of these alumni taking away time from their mentors. So, and Steve said, it's totally fine if you want to come down. We can work on something together. I was like, okay, cool. In that regard, it was like, okay, we set that time aside for me and him to work on. That's his free time.
It's not like you're popping in like, hey, Steve, you got a minute? I need an hour, actually. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
no. He's like, no, here, let's do a minute. Blah, blah,
Exactly.
blah.
And Steve's such a nice guy. He would do it regardless. And I actually might have done that one time before, one time after someone
Mm-hmm.
who really upset another art friend to whom I respect, unbelievably respect this person. And he got on Messenger and sent me a message saying, look, you cannot do that. I told you before. And he got I don't think he got. I don't. It was kind of like that. Maybe I'm misinterpreting his tone, but it was a deserved tone. That was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Look, dude, you need to think before you act."
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, and it was a good reality check, and I needed that. And I deserved that, and that's why, when I went and did that, I made sure that was planned in advance. But back to the Floyd Norman's. Back to the story before I get any more sidetracked. I'm sitting there and we get through the whole presentation and he starts taking questions. Floyd Norman's taking all these different questions. And he sat there and he's a nice guy. He's letting some stuff slide. And he's talking to the younger guys and I'm just sitting there, I'm having a good old time. I'm just like, God, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mel McCann's there too, and she sees me and I kind of shake my head at her like, I don't got no questions. I was like, I might have a question later, but I'll ask, But that's when the chair at the time, it was, I think the chair right now is Mel McCann. She's the current chair of the CCS Entertainment Department, right?
Well, the head is Tim Flannery. Flattery? Mel just kind of like, well, I know she oversees like animation 1 and animation 2, like maybe for animation EA it's someone else, but like I report to Mel right now.
Okay, but there was someone, okay, and I might be getting this a little bit mixed up or confused, but for the entertainment arts there's usually one like director, right?
Yeah, like the whole department head.
Okay, and that's Tom Flannery?
Uh yeah, Tim, I think it is Tim Flannery.
Tom, whatever. I remember.
So he's kind of a big. He was, well. They made a big deal out of him. I'm pretty sure it's Tim. Here I'll see if I can.
He didn't. I think it was him, and I think he was at this discussion. And what kind of bugged me?
Tim Flattery is the current chair of entertainment arts.
And I think he was there, and I remember him and Steve having some friction too, which I kind of caught on a little bit. But here's what kind of annoyed me, because I'm not going to say it's him. I'm going to say at the current time, there was someone who was in charge of the entertainment arts program at that time. Now, I'm not going to say it was him, but I'm not going to rule it out either. What I am going to say is that this person decided to get up and in front of the traditional animation students that were there, decided, do you see if since you're now doing like 3D stuff, do you even see the reason for people to do like traditional animation?
One of these deals. You sure it wasn't
He kind of.
So you sure it wasn't Bogo? So I know he was anti anything not 3D.
Don't even get me started on him.
Oh no, I totally.
The monologue I could give on that dude.
Oh no.
It would be deserved.
I totally.
I still make nice with the guy because I'm a firm believer in do not burn your bridges. But I will say that this prompted
good
me
for you. Better
to
off
ask
for you.
a question. This prompted me to have Mel come over to me and have me ask a question, because like, hey Mel, can you come here? I got a question for him. And she came over and I sat there and was like, okay, Norm, so, because I actually did think I was going to ask him a question. Like, I wanted to ask him a question like, during your experiences, do you think that your artwork has, in a more professional and a more personal and more cultural way, like changed the way America culture really views like heritage and stuff like that? Because I wanted to ask him, because he was the first person of color to work at Disney. It was amazing. and he was given a shot, an opportunity, and he ran with it. He did amazing stuff with that opportunity. And I wanted to see, did he think that he impacted people the way that, I like to think that all artists try to impact people. But I ended up not asking him that question. I ended up asking him this question, which was, okay, since you're now working in 3D, do you think it was a better benefit for you to have that traditional background that you have
Mm.
to make your 3D stuff better?
Mm-hmm.
And he got right into it. It was like, hell yeah. I mean, without that background, I don't think I would have been as successful as I would have been. And I think that, I have a lot. And he went on,
Mm.
and I was just like, I was looking at that guy. I just remember seeing the hand go up and that question being asked. I remember looking at him, and then afterwards, Steve is like, yeah, that was a good question to ask him. It's like, I can't believe he asked that question, but I'm really glad someone came up and kind of asked that question that you asked. And I was like, and I told him the question I wanted to ask him, like, oh wow, that would have been a better question. I was like, right. And then
That's
we
when
actually,
you go and find someone and say, hey, ask this question for me so I don't look like I'm all of the
so
air
then I don't look like I'm psychotic. I remember I asked Bogo a question when he first started out. It was like,
I can't
yeah,
roll my
do you
eyes any
think
harder.
Yeah, I remember asking him, "Do you think that you can help? Do you think all right? You said you're an asset. Okay, what do you think that you're going to be a leader?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I mean what I asked. Do you think that you are? Do you think that just do you think that you're going to be a leader?" And he goes, I don't really understand the question. I'm going to move on to someone else. And he just kind of waved me off. And I was like, all right.
That's very
And I
that's
remember
very Scott.
I remember Gary Schwartz pulling me aside and going, that was by far the best question and the worst answer I have had, ever seen in my entire life. You basically just cut right through the bullshit and asked him a very straight and honest question, which was, can you be a leader? And he couldn't even answer you. So I thought it was a
It's
wonderful
like
question.
it's a yes or no answer, Scott, to begin with, not a I don't understand what you're asking me question.
In his defense, I might have worded it kind of funky too. I have that problem with wording
Oh
things.
no, I
Like
get
all
it.
my
Like I
yeah.
said, it's hard for me to articulate my thoughts in class. It's like I draw the things, I don't have to talk about them.
And
It's like I will struggle to attempt, but if I'm sorry if you don't get it right away, just ask and I'll attempt to clarify a bit more.
I feel like I might have gone way off topic. Because I haven't really talked to anyone in a while actually about this kind of stuff, so it's actually really invigorating. Um, Time charts aren't as difficult as they may seem on a YouTube video. I mean, the pictures that you were showing in the general caption that you saw, I think that would be perfect for a student to look at and explain to them, look, these are your notes basically for your animation. That's the best way, that's the best example you're going to have for these. Is these little charts that you're going to put on top of your paper on your keyframe, these are your notes that you're setting for yourself. Like, okay, this is my first frame. This is this is my keyframe right here. So that's number one. So now I got to think, how do I want this motion to look? Do I want it to look like do I want it to be fluid? Do I want it to be like a railroad where it's just like chugga 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 choo choo like a railroad? Or do I want to really show and capture the essence of the action? Because fluidity comes last, in my opinion. The main thing that you have to take away from showing these little charts and everything is your own idea of where you're going to come from and where you're going to end. And how many frames you're going to have the point between those motions. So if your frame is, let's say it's a character that's going to turn its head, right?
Mm.
So how is he turning his head, guys? Is he like in shock? Is he subtle about it? Is he nonchalant about it? I mean, you tell me what I would actually ask the class, like, all right, you tell me what his action is. You tell me what his action is, and I'll tell you how to break it down real quick. So if they're telling me, oh well, it's a shock expression. Okay, so a double take it like Tom and Jerry, where they would kind of like look over and go, oh, nothing happened. And then like, whoa! So it would basically be like all your top frames would be in that first second. Like all these frames are pretty much on top of each other. And then that last frame, and then there's like a big gap in between, and then you have like 4 frames. That's all you would need to get that. That's all you would ever need to convey that emotion, to convey that surprise and general, disorientation. If it's a nonchalant, like if it's a flirty kind of thing, and it has all these little nuances, like a little head swivel, like Milt McCall would do, or like he's explaining something, or it's all these like little subtle variations, then you would have something like the Roger Rabbit time chart, where it would be very evenly paced in certain areas, and then as the frames would get closer and closer together, that's where you had those little nuances that kind of ease in and ease out of the motion. Is any of this making sense? Because I feel kind of like I'm one-handed right now.
No,
because I can't get this Wacom work with me lately. It's kind of been hit and miss.
What kind of Wacom do you have that it's been?
Well, it's 10 years old.
Ah. Was it like
actually,
an Intuos 3 or something like that?
2.
Oh, okay. That's the older side.
It's a big Wacom. Let me point it to you this way. I was working on this same Wacom when I was at CCS.
I'll say I've burnt through 2 since then. I'm on like my 3rd since CCS.
Yeah. I'm actually looking to upgrade my computer this month, and then the next thing's probably going to be the Wacom later this spring, or probably even sooner. I'm probably going to get it done before the end of the frickin' winter.
Yeah, I get how that goes. I want to do upgrades, but it's finding the time and the right time to do it. I mentioned at the beginning I bought something interesting this weekend. My sister pointed me in the direction of an estate sale that had video games at it. I missed most of the video games, but I went there and they had an HTC Vive. They had a VR headset for sale. And
Jesus.
It was priced at $475 the day I went, which was Friday, and it was 25% off. I was like, I'll wait, because my boyfriend was coming over, and he has a Valve Index and knows a little bit more about it than I do. So we went over the next day when it was 50% off. I got a full Vive, an HTC Vive for $237. So I have that now that I get to figure out where I'm going to put it.
Nice.
But no, it's I guess when you start looking at timing charts, like, okay, if you're just doing it for yourself, it doesn't matter. But it's like they're like, okay, like does each chart when you put them on, is it just for like 1 second at a time? And then they're like, well, it's for other people too, because if you're passing it off to someone who's doing the in betweens, that's what.
No. That's a misconception right there.
Well,
no. You pass off what is called an X sheet.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, because that's something I would like. I would correct them right there. I would stop them like, no, stop right there. That chart right there that you're putting up in your corner of your animation, that is for you and you only. That is to show you how your performance is done. If you are going to pass off your stuff to be in between, you need an X sheet, and that is a completely different skill set that we can cover, actually.
I was like,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Phil. I get real passionate about this stuff.
I totally get it. Like I said, this is why I get confused. Like, I'll look up things and they're like, well, it's for this. I'm like, then how am I supposed to format it if it's like being passed off or whatever? I'm pretty sure like even in like the kind of like in the Richard Williams book, it's like it's not necessarily for like if you're passing it off, but it's like it can be used for that. It's like, and then they go into the X sheets. It's just, like I said, I haven't had to deal with them because, like, when I do timing, I just kind of guess. I don't do all the extra planning off to the side. This I don't know how to do. I just I do the thing, and it's like it's probably like the worst way to do the thing, but that's the only way I know how to do the thing. I'm like, oh no, I don't know how to function. You know what I mean?
I do understand that it's a thing that it's, I can learn, I can do this thing. I can't explain it. And that's kind of how I am when I draw, because I actually had this individual who was bombarding me with questions because he saw that I drew and he liked some of the stuff that I did. And he was just asking me all these different questions. And I was just like, okay, hold on. What are you having? Okay, let me try and understand what you're having trouble with. What do you inevitably want to do? It's like, I want to be the greatest artist ever. I'm like,
okay, have fun with that.
That was literally one of the messages I got back. And I was just like, okay, I can't help you then, dude. I really can't, because I don't know how. I can't answer that question. Okay, and so I didn't answer back to him. I didn't respond to that at all. I just kind of ignored it and moved on. And I was just like, okay, what particularly do you feel that you could improve upon? And he was like, well, I have trouble doing faces. And I remember I went through this phase where I was like, I was really, really mad at myself for not being able to do faces very well, for being really intimidated by facial work and stuff like that. So I sat down for 2 years after freaking college and focused on nothing but I posted them every single freaking day on Facebook. And surprisingly, they got better. That worked for me because I was really adamant about learning that. But for this guy who is just starting out, it's like, I don't know if that would work for him. So I was like, okay, let me see some of your artwork. And it was, he said, I'm fresh out of college, this is some of my best work. And I'm like, okay, that's good. There was a lot of stuff that I tried to explain to him, like, okay, well, you obviously like a certain type of anime. I'm trying to figure out which one. I'm a huge fan of anime. I want this to be known right now. I love anime. I love everything about it. I love Miyazaki. I even love One Piece now. The last season of One Piece has blown all my expectations out of the water because it is so brilliantly drawn, so brilliantly animated. It is phenomenal what they are doing with that series. And I do love a lot of the other animes that come, but the one the kid I think went with, he probably could have done a little bit more research to find out how the creator of Dragon Ball.
Oh, Akira Toriyama.
You know, Akira Toriyama. He could have probably done a little bit more research into how he did his artwork, because Akira Toriyama is one of those people, and it's same with Oda, Ichira Oda, or no, Oda Ichira? Oda Sensei.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm struggling with my own fucking model sheet. I drew it, and now I can't redraw it, because I can't. I'll do these later. This isn't working. I've just redrawn the same thing 20 times, and it's not doing what I want it to do.
Well, the one basic thing that I told him when we were first starting out was like, okay, do you know how to draw? Okay, I can help you. I can help change your life, because I had to recently swallow a very bitter pill that I was learning how to do things kind of wrong. And well, it wasn't that I was learning how to do things wrong. It was like that I wasn't applying what I was learning, or I wasn't understanding what I was learning. So, and I love this one YouTuber who's an artist who actually worked on The Last Avatar, Kona. Yeah, I think that was it. and he the Last Airbender, and then the Avatar, the Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra, and he worked on both of them. His name's Ethan Becker,
Mm-hmm.
and he also worked on the Voltron series. I think that's his biggest claim to fame, if I remember correctly.
I'm pretty sure that the studio that does Korra and Voltron are like the same thing, because they have like tells with their style. Like if you're watching them, just very similar.
Watch one of his YouTube videos, and you will want to punch him in the nose, but then you'll also want to kind of punch yourself, because you're like, son of a bitch, he's right. And that's kind of what happened to me. I had that moment. I watched this video, and I'm like, he's breaking this stuff down so simply. And then this kid asked me this question, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to freaking refer you to this, and I'm going to explain to you why this actually works. I'm going to show you what you could be doing that'll help better your artwork and better your understanding. You're going to show me how to do anatomy? In a way, yes. So he watches, and I recommended he watches. It was like, okay, he's a jackass, but all right, well, yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. But okay, so what are you going to show me? Okay, so I broke down this head, and I had this theory on how to do a head design that could kind of work for about 90% of the stuff that I would do, and the other 10% I would always kind of try and like go over with a different shape. You know, like if I wanted to make it something rounder, I would make it with a bigger circle. Or if I wanted to make something look boxier, I would make it I would do the box almost. And that's how I kind of learned how to get the basic shape of the head down. And that's what I showed him how to do real quick. And I showed him that, look, it depends on what you're doing. But here's how I'm going to do this head. It's a humanoid head. It's this character that I do called Typhoon. And I recently started designing him, and I really liked how some characters in comics and some of the American comics got like this flat nose kind of situation going on. Have you ever seen it? It's kind of like from the forehead all the way down to the tip of the nose. It's just a straight line in the profile. There's no indentation or anything. It's just like a curve. And it actually looks pretty cool. I like it, and I thought it was unique. So
I think I know what you mean.
It was used in Sin City, actually. If you ever caught that movie, or if you ever caught any of the comic books.
No, I'm not like the biggest into like Western comics. It's not like I hate them. It's hard for me to get into them. I've always explained.
I can understand that.
Huh?
I can understand it.
Well, see, it's like I have a friend who's a big like comic book fan, and it's like I've explained to him, it's like when they seem to be blowing up their timelines every other year, it's like I don't know how you're supposed to keep up with it. It's like I can't get invested in that kind of stuff.
Sonic was the best at not doing that until they got toward the end. Then they blew up their timeline twice, and it was like, guys, what is going on? Why are you following suit of every Marvel issue ever?
Yeah, so it's
they caught on to their mistake, and they were like, okay, we got to revert back, so we're gonna blow up this timeline, set it back to normal. Yeah. And they did. So there's much to their own, like, you know, gotta applaud them and everything. But anyways.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's like when it comes to like Western comics, it's just hard for me to like for them to keep my attention, because like I don't want to get invested in something just for it to get like kicked in the shins partway through. Like, look, we reset. I'm like, okay. I'm so glad I spent the last bit of time paying attention for you guys to kneecap yourselves. So it's not like I don't like that, and I don't know. It's certain like you know, old school like comic designs. Like I don't mind like, you know, the Batman animated series, but it's like when things start to like congeal into like a similar.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I understand. No, I completely understand.
It's like I'm not saying anime doesn't do that. Anime totally does that too. But it's like at least
anime does it, but it goes to the nth degree.
Yeah. Well, and it's like at least with the stories, usually it's like they don't. If something goes wrong, they'll either just pretend they didn't do it and leave an end hanging, and then you get driven crazy, or they just run with it, and then you're suddenly in space, and I'm like, okay, at least you didn't kneecap me and send me back to the beginning. It's like I don't need a rewind button right now, but sure.
Yeah, hey, you've heard of this manga and anime called Fairy Tail, right?
Yeah. I tried getting into it. I watched the first episode, and what Lucy, she was just expositing all over to the place to the main character who should have known it. I was like, I can't do this. I had to stop.
It's like, why even bother? That whole series was just a cluster to me. It got so much more interesting in the manga toward the end, where they stopped doing that and actually focused on the story.
Hmm.
And it was like, okay, yeah, I can dig that. And then they brought it back for the last few segments, and I'm just like, okay, I cannot take this artist and writer combo seriously. They know what they're doing.
See,
They're
it's
drawing
hard
in
for
their
me.
fan.
The guy who the main guy who writes it, he did was it Rave Master back in the day, and it's like he just
Yeah,
did the same. Like Lucy's just the girl. They have the weird, cute mascot thing, and then the character named after a season.
Right.
Because it's like what Natsu and Fairy Tail, and then like in Rave Master is like Haru. It's like okay, fine.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know, and
right
I just
now,
thought that was funny, and everyone's like, raving about it. It's like, well, that's good. I couldn't get into it because Lucy just insisted on expositing the whole first episode. It's like he should technically know this. This is literally only here for us, and it's done so sloppy. I hate it. Sloppy exposition makes me mad.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that guy, about that artist, though. Not the writer, the artist. The artist is a huge One Piece fan. He looks up to Oda like he worships him like a god. And if you ever read any of the Fairy Tail and then read the One Piece, or read any of the Rave Master and then the One Piece, you would realize, oh my god, they are the same freaking manga series. This dude is trying to rip off exactly what Oda did in this series. And it kind of annoyed me when I went back and read some of the Fairy Tail stuff, because I was like, Luffy did this 10 times better than this freaking Natsu guy ever could. And then what really did it for me was when the artist and the writer teamed up again and came out with a series called Eden Zero.
Okay.
It's really good. It still has that stupid. It has that fan service crap in there that really annoys me. But I think he's gotten better. I'm a guy, so I can't really explain. I can't really. I should just stop talking. I don't think. I mean, I've kind of hit to the point where, like, oh wow, it's a manga with a chick who's practically naked all the time. Wow, that's interesting. It doesn't. It's like, all right, what about the story, guys? Can we get to the story?
Yeah.
And there was a big moment in that series where everything just kind of hit like this wall, and you're like, whoa, did that just happen? And it really got me reading this, like, okay, this is something that I'm actually going to check into and check every single freaking week now. And he's almost 100 chapters into it, which isn't bad for a manga series. But it's also like, okay, he hit this wall, he figured out a way to get around it, and then he hit another one. Now I'm like, okay, you might have stretched yourself a bit thin there, buddy. Because to Oda's credit, he knew that at one point that he had to make sure that Luffy lost, and lost bad, in order to get the whole community up in arms over this. And there were a couple times where you see Luffy's character arc, and you wonder how this person actually dreams as big as he does, and actually still manages to function, or still manages to stay upbeat the way he is. And I really, the more I kind of read One Piece, the more I kind of started to appreciate Luffy as a character, because he came off in the beginning as this obnoxious a-hole.
Yeah, I'm super behind on One Piece, so I can't argue at all in this conversation, I'm afraid.
No, 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 no. I don't expect you to argue. I was just jabbering on like an idiot, like I usually do.
Oh no, you're
Um,
fine. I guess not argue. I can't contribute to the thought of it because I'm just super behind on it. I got into it back in the day, and then they just took off really fast when it came to for like English releases because I wasn't reading online at that point. And then I
yeah.
just fell behind, and now we're at what chapter 1,000 for One Piece. I'm like, cool.
1003. He is the second manga to ever do this.
What's the first?
Huh?
What's the first?
The boxer one. Ippo
Oh, okay.
Manichiku.
I know.
Manichiku?
I'm not entirely familiar with it, but I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I've actually read that one. It is actually it really goes into depth, all these different theories about boxing and striking as a whole, and there were some little tidbits in there that I'm like, okay, I'll take that for my writing. I'll save that to the side and research that later.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't, but if it comes up again, my mind will be like, oh yeah, I was supposed to research that. Okay, gonna Google that real quick.
But yeah, now when it comes back to like the entire just animation class thing, it's like I don't know. When it gets brought up, it's like I just don't know how to do it. Because at least in a learning setting, when you're not doing stuff with like a group, it's like you don't necessarily need. I don't know. I didn't need it. It's like, oh fuck, these kids might want it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to them. Is just part of the problem.
I don't. The thing is, I don't think you can really explain to them. I think you have to show them. I mean, you were an artist back when you were first starting at CCS. What was some of the best stuff that you got from class?
Uh, um, like within
Like, what were the classes that you got the most out of? Is what I'm trying to ask.
I always go on about anatomy just because it was, well, I mean, that's like the most useful, and I always tell people to go take anatomy if they take anatomy, well, if they can.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. Make no qualms about that. Anatomy is important. I do think that there is a level of anatomy that is kind of not needed, and a certain level of anatomy that is very much needed. It I've kind of learned to embrace the concept of yes, anatomy is important. You must learn it, but to remember every single thing there is in a freaking human body might not always be necessary. You need to understand though how that might move, what it might look like when it's pushed against the skin, and how it pertains to your design completely. If your character is written as something like the character's meek, he's shy, he's weak, probably don't show him 6'2", jacked, and with muscles for days. Maybe show him a little lengthy. Maybe show him in a certain way that is like, um, like an average human being. Understanding that anatomy will help you more than understanding like extreme anatomy, like some of the stuff I've seen lately.
I just mean knowing how arms are supposed to work and kind of basic proportions. I don't know. I've seen too much
I think
bad.
that's what I was getting to, but I couldn't. It's kind of getting late, so I'm a night owl, but on Sundays I kind of revert back to being a freaking morning person, which I hate. So yeah, I mean, I honestly could sit here and talk to you until 2 o'clock in the morning and still be functional, but I wouldn't be functional at my job tomorrow. So I think. All right. So what I was getting at with by asking what did you get out of what was the class that you got the most out of? You said anatomy, and the basic of which I was trying to get at is so I think I asked you this before, but who's the teacher that you took with anatomy? It was Eugene Clark, right?
Yeah, it was Eugene.
Okay, so Eugene, if you remember, this dude would sit there and with a pencil on a stick, standing like freaking 5 feet away would sit here and draw and explain everything as he was drawing. And he would have you, okay, class, go with me. We'll do this nice and quick and simple. I'll show you how to do this real quick. And he drew a circle, and he drew a box, and then he explained as he was jotting this down, like, okay, this is, it's a 5-eyed cube. It's very simple, 5 across, 5, and then 2 for the mouth, 2 for the rest of it. And, he would break it down, and he would keep it simple. And it was a skeleton anatomy, and then you go into the muscular ones, which is even more complex. But he had a way, and I remember him very, very well because he also left an impact on me. He had a way of showing you instead of telling you. And I felt like that was when a teacher did their best, is when they showed you. You don't necessarily have to explain everything as you're working. You just have to show them a starting point, is basically what I think. This is my opinion. I haven't taught a class, so these are thoughts that just randomly pop in my head.
Well, I mean, it's like, I get that. It's like, I want to show them, but it's like, I don't know. Some people, it's like, even if I go over a demo, they still have, like, questions, even though it's like, I just did the thing. Did you not see it? It's like, they need more of a breakdown. Like, because some people just learn differently than that. And that's
right,
the problem. It's like, but see, Eugene going there and drawing from 5 feet away with a stick, a piece of chalk on a stick, is different because he actually knows how to explain it. I don't know how to explain timing charts in any, like, reasonable ways. Like, I can say, okay, you draw a line here and then you do tick marks here. It's like, but there's like finer details to it because I'm literally learning this, like, right now. I don't have any experience to use to back up on it is part of the problem. That's the big thing. It's like, I can read all I want, but because I haven't had enough time actually using it, it's like, oh crap. I don't know if I can properly convey this to this class because I don't have the, like, proper experience. Because again, I haven't worked on a production or anything. It's like my even my knowledge of X sheets, like, yeah, I can tell you what they do. It's like, but I use it for, like, one thing and that's it, because I don't have to pass things off to people. Like, I use it for dialogue and that's it. If you trying to decipher someone else's X sheet, I couldn't tell you. It's like, even when I helped with, like, senior stuff, it's like they're just like, oh, just in between this, and that's where we left it. Okay. So it's that's part of the problem here. It's like, oh, if they want, like, more detail, it's like, if I say, oh, I'm not really sure, they're gonna then they start questioning, like, my level of, I guess, expertise, or, like, my experience or something. Or what I'm afraid is, like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Why is she teaching our class to tell us how to do these things if she doesn't know how to do the things? It's like, learning or not, because especially with, like, timing charts, like, you go into anything, is like, oh, these have been around since forever. So, like, the assumption is, like, oh, so everyone should know how to do these, right?
Everyone uses them for, like, it's one of those things that you would use as a reference for yourself when you're trying to come up with your scene. It's more like you're trying to figure out where you want your keyframes to be, where you want the bulk of your illustrations to be in this scene, in this little setup that you've made for yourself. So instead of having to draw everything completely filled out and everything beautiful, and I'm not really freaking coming up with the best explanation of this. I was doing better earlier. Let me think.
But no, see, I get that because you've already said this. It's just when you get into, like, the finer details. You watch any video that go into, you got halves. You got, hold on, I'll get the dumb thing. Where is it? Okay, just looking at this. It's like, okay, I don't know if it's just because I see a chart and I can't comprehend it the way I'm supposed to be. It's like, okay, I understand the slow in and slow out and crap like that. But it's like, okay, so are you just doing it for like, are you just using it for the 1 second? Can you, because you can't really do like a full whole scene on just one chart, and I think that's just what I'm tripping up on. It's like I'm overthinking it, because I overthink things. And it's like you watch the thing, it's like, oh, it's really simple. It's like, but is it? It's like, what does, because you hear thirds, okay, that's just dividing up the chart. That's not, you're shooting on threes. It's like when you start using, like twos and then you hear thirds, some people are going to get that mixed up. It's like, does that mean I put it on threes? Then you go in the Richard Williams book, it's like even doing walk cycles, like, oh, well, I do all these on like, every third frame is a keyframe because it's March time, stuff like that. It's like, okay, so what? I'm teaching these kids on twos. So even then I was getting myself mixed up because like I wasn't sure how to explain a walk cycle necessarily. It's like, it's one of those things like, okay, you're told the poses and you go do it. And they're asking, so exactly how many frames is that? It's like, I'm not sure. What's the question? And then that's me.
Well, you can answer their question with a question. It's like, okay, how many frames do you need it to be, really? I mean,
well, see,
the assignment.
The thing
what was
that
the assignment for the walk cycle?
It was just a vanilla walk cycle, 3 steps across the screen.
Okay. So was there any kind of length of time or anything like that?
No, it's 3 steps. They have, your basic contact poses in your passing pose,
right.
And then you in between it. And they're like, so how exactly how many frames is that? I'm like, what? I don't know. I was taken aback. And then Mike Wynn's like, well, there's a certain number. It's like, but if you say there's a certain, I guess that's just for walk cycles. But it's, I don't know. In a way, it's like sometimes when they ask me certain questions, it's like, are you asking me for a specific, or are they going to ask me specifics? Like, well, how many drawings is it for a ball bounce? How many is it for a leaf drop? It's like, when the leaf gets to the ground.
Well, it's always 24 frames a second, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 24 frames is 24 drawings. 24 drawings is a full second. So I guess the way I would explain it to them is like, okay, for however long your animation is going to be is how many frames you're going to need to do. So therefore, if your walk cycle is if I say that your walk cycle is going to be, 10 seconds, you're going to do 240 drawings. If I say it's a 3-step simple process, it shouldn't be more than X amount of frames. But then again, what the hell is going to be the X amount? Like, I kind of understand where Mike's coming from. There should be a set number to the animation, but I kind of like, it all depends on the individual though, too.
That's the thing. It's like, it depends on what, for the walk cycle, yeah. You got a certain number of keyframes. And
right.
If you're doing it on twos, then, there depends on how many in-betweens I guess you want if you want a normal-looking walk cycle. I mean, the Richard Williams book, mind you, is like, that's not even the book the kids use. Like, I didn't have it until, like, after college, even. Because Mel explained to me, it's like, it's a little bit too mechanical for what we're asking the kids to do. Because it just breaks it down, like, way too much. And that's the thing. It's like, even looking at it, it's like, even going into, like, freaking timing charts. I'm like, why, you have, like, a lot in there to process.
Was there a kid who actually read that entire book from cover to cover? Because I'll tell you right now, I didn't read that thing cover to cover.
I tried to read it, and there are certain parts, like, it is so pretentious at times.
There were certain portions, I took certain portions of that out, and I studied them, obviously, but a lot of it just kind of flew over my head. I didn't, if anything, I learned from, what's his name? Goldberg, I think his name is. Bill Goldberg? No, that's not. That's a wrestler. Goldberg Bill? No.
No, I think Goldberg is the last name.
Yeah. Anyways, I think he was the one who did the Aladdin stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it Eric Goldberg?
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Because
so
see, the book that they are using is the Character Animation Crash Course by Eric Goldberg.
Okay, yes, that's another good one, and I think there are some really technical things in there that might probably be interesting to know, but I wouldn't be 100% surprised if it just kind of went over their head, because it went over my head when I read it.
I don't know.
I honestly think I needed Steve to explain that one to me.
Like
I
I
probably
said,
needed his help to explain what his uncle had written in the Animation of Life book.
Well, again, when it comes to just timing charts, like, I'm not really sure how to explain them because I never use them, and I don't remember ever going over them when I went through the class necessarily. It's like, and nobody asked at the time. Like, it never got brought up. I didn't think about. I don't think I knew they existed. The first time I might have saw one was when I was helping Patrick with his like tie downs.
Patrick
Stannard.
Oh, really? You worked with him?
Yeah, because he. This is before they kind of cut in on like alumni being on campus, but he ran around campus a lot when I was there, looking for.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Looking for other people to help him just tie down stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd see it on his from time to time, but it's like I can't even say I think of anybody in my class that used them, because we didn't go over them. As far as I remember.
Who's your animation teacher, though?
Steve, and then Joe Stuckey. Joe Stuckey and Steve.
Okay.
I don't know if Joe also didn't go over it, but I know Steve never brought it up, and it never got touched on. He never asked me, "Oh, why don't you use these?" Like, again, I was never stopped from being told, "Hey, maybe you should use these." I was just kind of let go to do my thing.
Right. Steve was always really good about that. Because he had the same philosophy as Gary Schwartz did.
See, maybe Joe.
They kind of did. I don't know.
See, maybe Joe Stuckey was my animation. This is freaking forever ago. Maybe Joe Stuckey was my animation 1 teacher, and then it was Steve for animation 2. But this is years ago, and I don't remember off the top of my head. So it's like I don't remember ever. Like I said, I don't remember going over them. So when it gets brought up, I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know.
Well,
I literally don't know.
When did this class start? Like 2 weeks ago or something?
We're going into week 4.
Okay, so 4 weeks. So what have they done so far?
They're turning in their leaf drops for tomorrow, and then we're going into expressions.
Okay, so this is super basic so far that they've done.
Yeah, they've done a ball bounce, a vanilla walk cycle, and the leaf drop. That's where we are.
Okay, now the walk cycle, is it like a full character walk cycle, or is it just like
It's a very basic vanilla walk cycle. They're just kind of learning. Like I didn't impose like any kind of like super character design on it. This for the expression is when they're doing any kind of like character design.
Right. Okay. Sorry. So they kind of did like a basic structure humanoid kind of thing, and it doing a walk cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 legs and the arms swaying back and forth.
Ideally.
Right. Ideally, okay.
If that's what they did, that's a different story.
Okay, so I honestly think they kind of like skipped ahead a little bit about the charts, because they really don't need it until now with the expression.
Okay, again, so I'll be honest. The lesson plan I'm using, I didn't really. I've gone over it a little bit for myself, but it's not. It wasn't really. Mel wrote it up.
Okay.
And she just gave it to me and like the other new teacher to use. But that's also that most of the stuff written on it is based off the stuff that she knew that she might have learned.
Right.
Or has access to. She's like, well, because she's been teaching there for a while. She's like, show examples from other classes. I'm like, I don't have any other classes. I have my animation 1 stuff that is not good. That is the only example I have for these children.
Well, you can always talk to Steve about getting examples too. He's
trying to get into my chicken. I can't have him up here. No, I was gonna text or email Steve or message him on Facebook or something. It's just I've been.
Swamped.
It's yeah, because again, it's the only teaching I've done through the college is like summer courses or weekend things. And I
Right.
didn't have to worry about putting in grades or figuring out Blackboard or WebAdvisor. So it's like there's figuring that out, trying to get the class, structured in a way that is even remotely helpful for the kids. And they're like, oh crap, I don't have examples for this particular thing. Like
Mm.
it just it was that's why I'm looking forward to Japanese class being out of the way. Is like I rather focus on this than Japanese class at the moment, just because Japanese
Yeah, because it
class.
seems like you have like a full workload around this, and you're now. It's like, oh shit! Now I really gotta kind of get stuff together for this.
Well, and this isn't even my main job, so I have my regular work on top of this.
Yeah,
Because I
but
just teach the
yeah,
one class, like, twice a week, but it's like I still got extra stuff I have to do Papa, on the side.
yeah, and the teach at CCS, it's kind of like one of those things where, I mean, if you were going to a class and teaching in front of a class, you would have to try and leave, and good luck with that. I remember people would just swamp Steve, and I was one of those people, so I shouldn't really laugh.
See, they're not even
Every
like.
time.
I mean, okay, most of the kids they're like, oh, can we leave now? Like as soon as it hits 6:45, I'm like, oh, I guess. I mean, some of them have class right after, so I get that. But it's like again, a lot of them don't seem to want to ask. I get it. It's scary to ask questions, but it's like
Right.
they just don't seem to want to. It's like you guys need to ask questions if you don't fucking know. Like I've had to put up in so many places. Like if you have a question, email me. Cause like they're not even doing it. They're like, oh, I wanted to ask you. It's like no, asking me during class is too late. You should have done it beforehand. It's like part of your responsibility to let me know what's going on. If you wait, then I'm not going to be like super lenient about it because you should have reached out.
Right. Um.
I don't know. Like I said, the lesson plan has timing charts on there because that's what Mel's doing.
Okay. Yeah,
And
and you probably want to go with her. I mean, she's actually worked as a professional in animation, and she managed to get work in Michigan, which again is very surprising. I mean, I tried to get work in a studio that was here, but the studio folded, and then I was kind of screwed. So,
mm,
and then I was kind of doing jobs for Steve here and there. Um, email Steve tonight. I mean, he'll probably be up late. He usually is. He's more of a night owl than anyone else.
yeah, well, so he was
So,
he was always late to the 8:30 a.m. class, which is fine because I was usually late. So he didn't mind if I was coming in right when he was. He's like, yeah, okay. We had like
yeah,
I think a silent mutual agreement. It's like, yeah, we're both here. It's fine.
yeah.
You did the
So
thing. Okay, I don't care.
you're here, so you're all good.
You turned in your work. Don't care.
Gotta love that guy. He was amazing, and he still is. He's like one of my closest. He's one of my greatest friends too, closest. And I owe him a lot. But I would definitely suggest if you need resources and stuff like that, I would bug the crap out of him because it definitely seems like you want to do a great job with these kids, and that's great. That's the first step to a
Well,
great
yeah, I
teacher, in
don't
my
want to.
opinion.
I don't want to be the equivalent of my Japanese teacher to these children.
Exactly.
That's my one takeaway right now from Japanese class. Like, I'm not gonna be like you. If someone says they need something, I will give it to them right there and then. Like, I will
Yeah.
I will take the time to like do a demo. Like, I don't get it. It's like, okay, here, I'll record a thing for you, and I will put it up so you have it. It's like
Right.
So
So
it's just one of those things. Like, nah, I want to be like my Japanese teacher who just doesn't listen. It's like, no, I don't get the animation assignment. Well, you should have studied at home. It's like, then why am I here? Well, cause you are.
yeah, I will say that being in that classroom, I got the most amount of work done. I will say. I don't know how these kids are gonna even attempt to do this in personal learning
They
because I
they're
definitely needed.
required. I say they're required to have at home workstations.
Right.
basically their own down shooters at home. It's like they still have access to the labs, but
Well, that's good.
I mean, part of it is me. It's like I'm not overly comfortable with going down to campus myself, but that's just because I still have contact with my mother, and she has like a lot of health issues, and the last thing I need is to be around more people that could lead to problems.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I kind of live with my grandmother right now, for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she has her own things, which has yet to stop her from thinking about going to Florida this year. So
Yeah, I will say, in some of my students, they some some of them are actually like online only. Like they themselves are online only.
right,
It's like I get it. Some of them are also unable to go down to campus for one reason or another. It's just how it is. It is, like I said, it is a bit weird because it's like you can do breakout rooms, but it's like it's harder to do because if it was in a class, like you just kind of walk around, talk to
right.
everybody.
It's like, hey, how you doing? Where you from? How you doing? Where you... oh, I'm being a jerk. um, yeah, it the time chart thing though. If the best way you can break it down is the best thing you could say about it is only matters for what you're doing, and it's only reference. And if someone asks you, well, what about this person who did this and this and this, it's like, okay, that worked for them at this point in time. But again, if you guys want, we can kind of go through it, and this is basically what the function of it is.
Mm.
It's to show breakdowns for your keyframes. And they're like, well, isn't it supposed to be for in-betweens? The book says a lot of things, guys, but I'm here to tell you that all your teachers here, not a lot of them actually require you to know this. It's an extra thing that is put on the industry. And keep in mind, this is an industry that has been evolving since that time that that book came out.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing to understand is, yes, charts are very helpful. Charts are very, are very nice to know. They're not completely required. X sheets, however, are a completely different thing. They are the thing that tells someone that you're sending for TV animation, like Family Guy. They have X sheets. They will send these key frame animations overseas to Korea or whatever, get them done. They'll have act sheets filled out, they'll have storyboards, the whole shebang. And then they'll send them over, they'll get them processed, and then it'll be ready for them to edit and go through.
Yeah.
It's basically how that works, from what I've understood.
Mm-hmm.
And then
No.
you have, huh?
No, you're right. That's
Okay.
how I understand X sheets.
And then you have guys who do stuff in-house, but they also have programs that help build that. You're learning a traditional skill set right now. You're basically in a foundation class, is what you're learning. And you are learning the basic foundations of animation, that is squash and stretch, that is timing, that is ease in, ease out, that is anticipation. There was one more I can't think of. Help me out, Phil, please.
Which ones have you listed?
Ease in, ease out, squash, stretch, timing,
Anticipation. Then there's follow through and like overlapping
follow-through,
animation or action.
overlap action.
You
Yes.
got arcs, line of action. Technically, appeals one of them. Does it actually look good?
Okay. And then there should be like reaction in there somewhere, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't actually counting as well as I should have on my fingers.
I got 10, so we're good there. So those are the foundations that you must learn in order to understand anime. You understand these 10 things. You understand how these work in an animation, whether it be hand-drawn or 3D. You can actually animate just about anything, really. if you understand these core concepts.
Hmm.
It's the same with illustration. If you understand your anatomy, if you understand your basic structure, if you understand shapes, if you understand perspective, if you understand proportions, you are that much better of an artist. Right?
Ideally, yeah.
Ideally. And that's the thing about charts is it's kind of like a step. It's a step for an individual. It's not necessarily an industry standard, or at least not an industry standard that I've seen. I mean, I've seen the 9 old animators. I've seen Milt McCall animations that actually had that thing in the top right corner. He did that for himself. He sat there and he made sure he had that up in that corner. So then he knew where to add his frames. Like if you have like this one frame going, you have one going to like 5. So where's frame 2, 3, and 4 gonna be? Well, okay, it depends on what the action is. If you're going from 1 to 5, and that's the head going from a relaxed position into a shocked position over to the left, then 1, 2, 3, and then 4 somewhere in the middle, and then 5. Really, 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 really oversimplified there. It'd probably be more like 1, 2, 3, and then 4 in the middle, 5, 6, 7. Kind of that ease in, or kind of ease out, and then ease back in kind of deal. But you know. So that's how I think that's how I would actually explain it. I mean, at least I think that would probably be beneficial for them to understand, like, look, it's not a set standard. Not every animator actually does this. This is something that they would do for themselves, and it's a tool that you can use. But I'm trying to teach you the basic foundations of this. That's kind of like the cherry on top. That's these technical things that are covered in this book that was done at a time when that type of animation needed it. I mean, that's the type of thing that those animators did back. That's the type of thing that those animators did in the 80s and the 90s.
I don't know. You watch. I say you watch some of those videos and people are like, it's still beneficial to use them. It's like, oh, okay. Which, I mean,
and it probably is for those people.
Yeah.
But if you have an idea of, and you're feeling out the pose, and you're feeling out this animation, and you're actually sitting there, and you're kind of like, you're getting into the emotion and the reaction, and the acting of it, I would tell your students, like, okay, if you feel that you're actually moving around and you're actually feeling it, record yourself. Record yourself doing that action. Okay, do that action, but then record yourself.
I think we get into video references later.
Exactly. And
so I didn't do video references, I think, until one of my 3D classes.
I did video references. Are you kidding me?
I remember Scott Bogo had us do them for 3D.
And this is one of the things where I will say that Scott was kind of right. And
no, I'm not saying he's not in that instance. I mean, I'll give him credit where
we'll give him credit.
I will give him credit in certain instances, but I still don't like him. that's just it. Okay. It's like, I'm not saying he's wrong about certain things, but there's other things he was wrong about. One of those, like, okay, nothing wrong with video reference.
No, nothing at all.
But I don't know. Like I said, it's probably just me overthinking it. Like, I'm just worried because I don't want the kids to be like lost with things. Because that sucks.
Yeah,
that's part of the...
This is your very first time teaching at CCS, and I can understand that you are very nervous.
I mean, at least in this capacity.
I know. I'm actually kind of contemplating asking Mel if there was anything or what the criteria was to become a teacher.
Well, you might want to even ask Steve, because Steve approached me about it the few like they asked me like last fall too, because Mike Wynn was in the hospital and they didn't know if he'd be ready to go for the fall semester. So it's like not just Mel, you could always like ask Steve about it too.
Right.
Because
Yep.
he text messaged me first. He's like, okay, I'll have Mel give you a call. I'm like, oh, all right, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the one that's going to put the ball into motion, but like I'm pretty sure Steve can act as like a reference, because it's Steve. He has enough, I think, sway for that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah, me and Mel actually went to class together too. So
Mm.
yeah, we were in the same classes. We were actually in the same 3D classes a couple of times too. We never really had. I think we were actually in like the last year of the We were in the senior year together, the senior year classes together
Oh, okay.
too.
I say, and
At least I had one semester left, and then she had one more left. I was on my last semester, and then she had one more left because she was technically supposed to graduate spring 2010 with Mel Miller and everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and she ended up having to do it the following semester with Patrick Stannard
Mm-hmm.
and I think a couple other people. I can't remember exactly who, but I remember. Yeah, it was we. The point is, oh my god, I'm terrible at that. Tangent, 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 tangent. Going off on all these tangents. This is why I sometimes prefer to type in Messenger, but I couldn't really explain charts in Messenger very well
No, I get it.
without sounding like a lunatic. That's still not. That's still the same case, but anyways. So I knew her. That long story short, finally got around. Took the took the scenic route on that explanation. Sorry.
I get good.
But yeah.
I say, it was me and one other guy. I don't remember what year he said he graduated in, that they brought on for animation one, because there's just so many students now. Like if I assume there's at least 15 to 20 students per class and there's four of them, there's quite a lot of them like now in the animation department,
Right.
from what I can tell. Um, yeah, maybe ask Steve about it. I don't know. I got a feeling it's like that they're probably not going to ask me back after this. Uh,
Oh come on! Don't think like that. I mean, you care enough to actually ask someone this, and you care enough to stress out about it, because you want to do good, but you're not alone in this. You can ask. I would encourage you to ask Steve. I would encourage you to send him a message tonight about it too, to see, like, I'm having a little trouble with teaching this. Can you help me? And
mm,
I guarantee you he's going to come back and help you. Without a doubt. He would be the first one to be like, yeah, sure. What are you having trouble on? Like, well, I had trouble explaining time charts to them. I'm kind of having trouble kind of like engaging them a little bit.
mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, since he's been doing this long enough, he would have at least 100 different ways for you to help, or 100 different ways for you to, grab their attention, show them how to break down these charts better than I explained tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I really, really wish this fucking Wacom was working, because I got no artwork done. I'm gonna be crabby all day tomorrow because of it.
So that just maybe you have to update Wacom's at some point if it's just that old. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have too. I think I'm at that point where it's gonna be like, yeah, it's time to get ready, buddy.
I think
you did me good.
I was like, another reason why it's like I've been holding off like bothering Steve. It's like I already feel like I've been bothering Mel so much when it comes to just like getting settled. It's like, oh, I don't want to pull another person into it because I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like, I didn't go to CCS to learn how to teach. I went to CCS to learn how to do the thing, and I just haven't had a need to explain how to do that thing to anyone up until this point, really. Because I haven't. If you're doing the thing, at least to yourself, you're not explaining it to people. So, it's just doing that. If that makes sense. Oh, god damn it, my mouse is double clicking, so it's collapsing things down more than I want it to. That's good. Thank you, thing. Stop. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have to wing it tomorrow. Ask Steve more about it later, and then just do a follow-up with the kids if they really need it.
Yeah.
But
and that's one way to go about it. I mean, like I said, you can ask Steve anything, anytime. He's one of those guys who's always down to help. You can even ask him during the day tomorrow.
mm-hmm.
Even before class, you can even get a quick little refresher course on something.
Yeah.
So, and he could even have a better way to explain, like, I don't think you 100% need this, but actually he's on right now if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, Facebook. I mean,
yeah, he's on Facebook.
I'll say, because it's like, I can send him an email through his CCS email. I don't know how often he checks it.
Yeah, I don't know how often he checks the messenger either.
Mm-hmm. Worst comes to worst, I can always text him, but I don't like texting people this late unless it's like my sister.
I usually bug him this late because he's usually got nothing going on that's too important. I mean, other than his what was it? Oh yeah, he writes this online review for animation.
How does he?
Yeah, it's for a magazine, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I will figure it out.
Alright. Well, hopefully what I rambled on about helped a little bit, I hope. If not, I apologize. But, yeah, I really hope you do well with this, and I hope you find what you need, because I think you could do good at it. I really do.
Well, hopefully. Also,
yeah.
Thank you, Zoot Suits, for the follow. Sorry. I need to get off anyhow. I gotta study tonight still, and then I have to be careful not to stay up too late myself on Sundays and Tuesday nights because I teach the next day, and I don't teach until 4, but heaven forbid, I can sleep until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I shouldn't be in the habit of getting up at 3 o'clock and then getting ready to teach at 4. Because I shouldn't. I should be a little bit more put together, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, it's getting late, and I also need to think about what I'm gonna do in the morning, because I gotta get up and actually work. So, yeah.
Nope, I totally get that. So I'll let you go for now. I'll wrap up things here. I do appreciate the help. I don't know. It's like bouncing the ideas off someone else that's not just, a YouTube video helps. It's like I can yell at the YouTube video all I want. It's not gonna get me anywhere. 'Cause it's not. It's just I think I'm just overwhelming myself. It's like I'm already overwhelmed. I'm like, "Oh no, new thing. I can't, like, there's not enough space on my metaphorical stovetop to fit it at the moment."
Right, yeah.
So.
Okay. No, I understand that. Okay, well, you have a good night, Phil. I'm gonna try and get some sleep, or I might just reset my computer and see if I can't draw for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully you get it working. I couldn't imagine having to deal with that. I mean, I kind of can. It's like I've had tablets just die in the middle of a project, but that just means I have to somehow rush out and see about getting a replacement.
Right.
Which is never any fun because, well, usually
I got a backup, but it's like I got a backup, but it's like 16 years old.
Ooh.
So it was like a bamboo or something that I got for like dirt cheap or for free.
Yeah, that one might be even more finicky than your other one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, but I keep looping you back in the conversation. So have a nice Sunday night, and hopefully you do an art stream next Sunday, and I'll check it out then.
Say that's the plan. That is the plan.
Okay. All right, definitely. Because I actually enjoy your art stream. So.
Oh well, thank you.
Anyways.
I will talk to you later. Yep.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Anyway, with that, sorry we were just shooting the breeze there, guys. I'm actually going to end the stream. Again, stream times have changed, so our stream goes from 8 to 11. We're going a bit over, but that's fine. Let me see. I can't... Well, no. We got a few announcements that I want to do before I wrap up. Tomorrow is Nier Automata. Wednesday is Epic Mickey, which should be wrapping up fairly soon. Either this week or next week, I'm guessing. And then we'll be going on to Dead Space 2, because that's catch-up day. And then we're still... Well, we just started King of Cards on Shovel Knight Friday. So we're going to be at that for a while, because I got to learn card game in Shovel Knight. And then Saturday is supposed to be our next Sonic stream. I know the schedule for that got all mixed up, but Saturday should be a 12-hour stream for Sonic and the Black Knight. We're finally looping back around to that. And then the next Sonic stream will be sometime in the first Saturday of March, I'm pretty sure I said. And because I have... Well, I know Brian just said he hopes there's an art stream next week. I said that's the plan, but now I just remembered because I brought up Sonic stream. There probably won't be an art stream on Sunday just because 12-hour Sonic streams take it out of me, and Sunday is also Valentine's Day, and I might have plans, so... we can draw together some other day when it's not after Sonic stream and not Valentine's Day. So, you know, probably the week after. I think that's it for now in terms of updates. Sorry, I've started picking at the sticker on this case now that I saw that it was there. But Twitter and Discord for updates. Discord more so than Twitter, just because it's easier for me to do giant update texts on Discord than Twitter. I try to put them up on Twitter, but I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment, so sometimes I forget and I apologize. I'm sorry we didn't get a lot done, and I didn't explain necessarily what I was doing. It was just doodle time. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks guys so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And I hope you have a good night until I see you next, be it tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Saturday, or next week. I don't know, whenever. I appreciate you guys being here, because I know it's football night, but I don't watch football, so yay for watching art stream about random crap instead of football. I don't know, it's football. Most people just watch Super Bowl for the ads, right? I don't know. That's why my sister is watching. I can't stand football, so I'm not going to watch it either way. But yeah, so that'll be it. I'll talk to you guys later, so have a good night. Bye-bye.